Alright, in this video I'm going to show how to make these utensils out of a tin can. One is a ladle and the other is obviously a cup. This is kind of interesting. You'll need some tools to do this safely, and apparently this is something you can do in a camping situation, bushcrafting, or if you choose to be a tramp or a hobo. So anyways, let's go ahead and give this a try. Alright, in this video I'm going to try an interesting little project here. This is a printout of, like, on my Facebook page, kind of on my Facebook thread, you know, bushcrafting and survival stuff comes up, and there's usually diagrams of how to make, you know, different tarp tents and such like that, as well as stuff like this, which is kind of like hobo-ish stuff, making, you know, utensils out of tin cans and how to use a tin can. So go ahead and give this a try. Unfortunately, it's cut off. I can't find the original image. It'll probably pop up somewhere, and when it does, I'll pin it below this video. But I kind of experimented with this briefly before, so I kind of know where we're going. So I have a couple of cans here. So this is a big can. This is like industrial, you know, soup can, bean cans. You know, you can usually find these in the back of a restaurant, in a dumpster, something like that. These are very useful. And again, you know, you've got like these diagrams like this that is showing like a stove. You know, the same thing here, same thing here. You know, I've done a video on making a hobo stove. This would be a perfect size. The interesting thing with this sort of kit is on the move, you're just adding extra stuff to carry and extra weight, even though if you attach a hanger wire to this, you can make a handle and put stuff in it. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of making this as a kind of knick-knack stuff for my bushcrafting. But anyways, so I've got a couple of cans here that we're going to give it a try. And the first things first though, the one thing, again, when we talk about kit and carrying stuff, you know, especially if you're a hobo or, you know, or a tramp and you're jumping, you're riding the rails, you know, you're gonna have a lot of stuff to have to carry around. So one of these things you're gonna need is these metal snips here, and then a pair of needle nose pliers. Okay. Additionally, for sure, you're going to need a pair of gloves, right? You know, to protect your hands, because this, once you start cutting into this tin, it gets quite sharp. So that's, you know, my thing is kind of, you know, seeing if this stuff kind of works out. It just kind of is like, you know, that's a lot of stuff to carry around with you. But, you know, hey, I'm not a hobo, so I wouldn't know, right? I really can't speak from any sort of experience like that. But that's just what I would speculate. Anyhow, I've got a Sharpie here, so one thing we're going to make is a ladle. This is a ladle here on this side, right here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the diagram on the back here. Alright, I've taken my Sharpie and I've drawn, there's the seam here in the back of the can, and I've drawn the lines here with a slit on each side, okay? And then I'm just, for the ladle, I'm just going all the way around, so I'm eyeballing it. Again, if you're a hobo, you may not have a Sharpie with you, so you just have to eyeball it, I guess, right? Or maybe you do. So, anyways, I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to take my metal snips here and start to cut this out. Oh, and I do have gloves on, as you notice, right? Protect yourself. The metal's going to be very sharp. Okay, so here's the rough shape, right? Again, metal, this is extremely sharp, all right? You will cut yourself, okay, if I didn't have these gloves on, right? So now I have these lines in here that go across just a little bit in. So I'm gonna snip those. Like that. And then that's why I have my pliers here, because the pliers, to make the handle of the ladle sturdy, I want to be able to kind of to bend this in, right? Start to get this to bend in on itself. So here is the piece and how we kind of fold it in, so at least the handle is not so rough, right? But you know, did you use this as a ladle to put up to your lips? I don't know about that, right? So for the most part, you know, I mean, still you could scoop with it and pour things out or whichever you need to do. I don't know about putting my mouth on this. So at this point I would kind of call it done. But what I am going to do, give a try, because it just occurred to me, I'm following the diagram for the original, from that picture, is I'm going to put a snip about 1/8 of an inch down in there. I'm eyeballing it like that, and I'm gonna, you know, kind of give a few around, not too deep. And then what I can do is I can take my pliers and see if I can bend the edge down. Okay, I'm gonna lose a little height or depth on the ladle, but it'll be a safer product at the end of the day, if my theory is true, right? And again, I'm altering from the diagram because it just occurred to me. I mean, this is what you probably would have to do. Granted, you have a pair of pliers or something like that, or very strong fingers with gloves. You can bend these down all the way around and then fold them in. Okay, there. So yeah, taking the pliers and making sure it's nice and flat against the inside. Now I can put my mouth to it and it doesn't hurt me, right? You just got to make sure that there's no metal pieces sticking out to cut yourself on. So I guess this is how I would alter from that diagram. I do have an illustrative background, so I'll probably just make a sheet similar to that, draw it out, and add the extra lines in it, and you know, just modify that, because now we're proving that, you know, you do need these tools. I mean, unless you got strong, calloused hands to be able to handle sharp metal like that, or it's highly recommended that you use some hand protection. I guess in a survival situation, or you're out there at a hobo on the street or whatever, you might be able to find a piece of cardboard or a piece of leather or a bark of some sort and use that to help shape this. You do run the risk of cutting yourself, getting an infection, and if you are a hobo and you don't have health insurance, that could be a problem. So again, safety first if you choose to try this. Again, use gloves, have the proper tools. So we're going to make a cup next. And I've already drawn the diagram out, and then I'm just going to cut this out. Okay, so here's the finished cup here. And what I actually did, as opposed to the ladle, okay, again, this is just and if it was taller, you know, if it was a tall can like this, then I could even make it so I could bend the top of it, get real artistic. I don't know, it's kind of a propensity of mine. Anyways, to make the edges safe, I folded them in on themselves, inwards towards the inside of the can, right? And then on the cup here, this is actually, I folded them backwards, right? And that helps reinforce the strength of the handle. And then again, the same thing of folding them in to make, you know, obviously if it was raw, you're not going to put your mouth on this. I'm just telling you, you're looking for an injury. The other thing is to keep in mind is that you probably have to line the inside of this with wax or something like that, because this is going to get rusty. It's already kind of, you know, as I was saving this can for this video, it already kind of got rusty inside. So that's definitely a health issue, right? Again, I think this is kind of nifty, you know what I mean, if you have the tools, you know, in the hand protection. I don't really think this is something really, unless you're willing to carry all these materials out in the bush or in the field, all these tools and materials, that is quite practical. I could see carrying around a hobo stove, but nothing this size, right? I mean, I suppose you could, but you know, why would you want to? Something right in between these size and this size probably would be best or appropriate. And there are cans that size. I've seen tomato sauce cans like that. Anyways, I digress. Anyway, so here's the little experiment, kind of finished. It seemed to kind of turn out, but I had the proper tools, a pair of needle nose pliers, and some aluminum snips here. The Sharpies definitely help to keep things accurate. Yeah, there you go. I mean, this would work. You pour your coffee in here or whatever, and now it's safe to put to your mouth. Again, the rust might be a concern. So as long as you have an ample supply of cans, you could make another. You could just keep making them over and over and over again, and not worry about, you know, getting rust poisoning. So anyways, I hope you got something out of this video. If so, please like, share, subscribe, put a little something in the tip jar. My links are below. Again, I found this on my Facebook. The diagram here, this is this one, and this B here is supposed to be this one, right? And I found this on my Facebook feed. I do have a Facebook Facebook group under the Urban-Aboriginal at Facebook. Look me up. Feel free to join, and it's right. You know, it's free to join, obviously, and the link is right below. Again, thanks for watching.